Hey, love lovers. Hello, everyone. Bonjour. Well, in the honor of the queen of gossip, how you doing? So today we are doing a synastry, a very interesting one, because with this analysis we are going to see quite a lot of stuff that we usually talk about in synastry, and in this particular one it was playing out left, right, center, right. This is a synastry between Wendy Williams, Miss Wendy Williams, right? We know her. She's the queen of gossip, the queen of pop culture commentary, right, in the media. She's a media mogul, like the It Girl, right? And one of the most popular radio hosts in the world, right? Very controversial, very assertive, and always not scared to state her mind, right? And of course, her ex-husband, then Kevin Hunter was, the muscle behind her opening up her own TV show, right? And that is very clear in their chart, in their synastry, that he did indeed help her a lot in her career or with her career growth. That is something that is very, very clear and visible, right? Wendy Williams was born on the 18th of July, 1964 in New Jersey, America, right? And Kevin Hunter was born on the 17th of September, 1972 in Texas, America as well, right? First of all, why did they get married, right? I usually do that with some of these analysis, but with them, they had been married for a long time, for so long, and I just figured it doesn't matter, like, what was happening when they met, because the juice or the lesson really is in their synastry, right? So basically, they were together for such a long time because, first of all, she's got her Venus conjunct with his Saturn. Of course, I told you guys, when Saturn is involved, then for sure we're getting commitment, because Saturn represents commitment, and Saturn gets exalted in Libra, where there are contracts, where there is a signing of agreements, or where there is a union. So that's what Saturn's about. And now Saturn getting conjunct with the Lord of the union itself, we're gonna get a commitment here, and with them their commitment was through marriage, right? I also do have their moons conjunct in Scorpio. Wow, debilitated, right? Again, when people talk about debilitation, they talk about it in different manners, right? There are people gonna be like, okay, when moon is debilitated, it's gonna do this. When it's exalted, it's gonna do that, right? But it's always wise to look at these things from a context point of view, right? Now, when we look at it from the synastry point of view, we know that there are secrets that they shared together, okay, because that's what Scorpio is about. There are secrets that they share together. There are things so deep that they could never tell people about, and these could have included or involved scandals, within their relationship, right? Of course, we do know now about many of the other scandals that came out, through her documentary on Lifetime, right? Of course, then again, this is also enforced because when I look at his mass, right, I find that it actually gets debilitated in her moon, right? Meaning that he could feel energetic, but when it came to her emotions, there was something that tripped him. Like he could not handle her emotions, or he refused to handle her emotions, or he did not appropriately know how to handle her emotions when she was going into an emotional state. All right, so this is very visible as well. And when I look at her Saturn now, I can see that it's actually making an opposition to his Mars, again giving that challenge, between the planets. But when it's in an opposition, it's actually better than when it's in a conjunction, because there's a distance. So sometimes there could be tension or argument, but they never go to the extreme because of the distance that the opposition is placing. However, when it comes to the job, like to working together, I can see that her profession was attractive to his energy and, for his status in the society, because there's also sun there. So this is how they came about, to be working together. It was because his energy and his need of ego and status was attracted by her Saturn, her profession, her status of work, of karma, within the society. So another thing that I see here, of course, is that his Saturn is actually making a very, very great aspect to her own Saturn. And with that, like they were destined to work together. Okay, so this is how he got to be her manager, and they worked together for a long time. Is basically due to their Saturn aspecting each other. Of course, Saturn is a character of what? Of work, profession, career, dharma, and the societal status. Right. Another thing is that when this conjunction of moons is in Scorpio, it also tells us that they were very loyal to each other, because then Scorpio brings out that loyalty. They were very loyal, to each other, and they were deeply, deeply, deeply involved and committed with their emotions in their marriage or in their relationship, right? So, however, there was also a scandal about him physically abusing her, right? And I could see that because her Mars is actually conjunct with Saturn, and as I've told you guys in that video about Mars and Saturn, every time when this is happening, we are definitely going to get some physical abuse. So it could, of course, the scale differs according to the degrees. It could be as simple as bumping on to each other or pushing each other, to a very, very très grave thing, like hitting you to the point that you go to the hospital, right? So we need to look at the degrees here to be able to see what scale are we getting in terms of the physical altercation or the physical abuse, right? I actually just noticed that I made a mistake, and I and I recorded over my other recording. So yeah, if there's like a I don't know, like a cut or a disconnection in what I'm talking about, that's what happened. Mercury retrograde, guys, I already told you, when Mercury is retrograde, I feel it the most, Gemini ascendant. So the Geminis and the Virgos, when the Mercury goes retrograde. Ouch, ouch, ouch. However, because of, the aspect that her Venus is making, to his Lilith, I can see now that her affection, her love, her romance, her union was disturbed by a Lilith factor. Of course, we all know that by now because, the citation came out, and we do know of, the other woman. And from the Synastry point of view, I can see it because her Venus, her union, her love gets debilitated or gets affected or, dies because of a Lilith factor. A Lilith is what? Something taboo, something suppressed, a secret, stuff like that. So that is what Lilith is, that desire which was suppressed, like because this relationship between her ex-husband and the other woman was hidden for a very long time. It was suppressed for a very long time from the public, and finally it came out. So there are many things that we could talk about when it comes to their synastry. But another thing maybe that is very important for the lesson is that her Venus, really, really, really enjoyed, his expression of love, his expression of, affection. So basically, she found a boost in her love by the way he loved her, if you get what I mean. Like she really, really, really felt good being loved by him, being shown affection by him, being romanticized by him. So meaning that Wendy Williams was dead in love with this man, right? And how he loved her as well, right? So then what are other reasons except the Lilith that I'm talking about that made this man to choose another woman or choose to be with another woman? First of all, his Venus is in Gemini. Now, guys, before you think that, Venus in Gemini makes you a loose person. No, it doesn't make you a loose person. However, it makes you a person who wants to commit to two different partners, to two different careers, to two different potiqua, right? Whatever it touches. That's what it does when it comes to the Venus in Gemini. It will make the partner have the wife and also look for a girlfriend, but with that girlfriend he's also gonna be stable with them, or she's also gonna be stable with him. Like basically a Gemini, a Venus in Gemini doesn't make people want to sleep with everyone or whatever, right? It's still gonna want, or desire that aspect of being committed, but not to one thing, not to one person, so you could have 4, 5 girlfriends, 4, 5 wives, 5 husbands, whatever, but that person is still gonna show some commitment, to those people, right? But because it's in Gemini, it's looking at Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is ruled by who? Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is, somebody who moves from one place to another place to another place to another place to preach, to motivate other people. But at the same time, the Gemini sign itself is it's like what? It's like a two-way street, right? Looking this side and looking that side, at that side, looking this side, looking at that side. And you find most of the time, I'm not stating that this was the case, although there was a rumor, but most of the time, a Venus in Gemini makes a person also be bisexual, okay? Like they will they will explore with this gender today, and they explore with another gender another time, because that's what it does. It's Mercury, it's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is a like a changeable sign. Yes, I'm looking for the word changeable sign, an adapting sign. So that's what it happened. That's what happens with Venus in Gemini. So that was a very important lesson. Okay. Anyway, now let's continue. So what I'm saying is that his Venus is in Gemini. So this is how this other woman came about. But now, very important, but at the same, okay, maybe I should use and, not but, and her own Rahu is conjunct with his Venus in Gemini, expanding, that desire to cheat, that desire to get out of the relationship and see other people, or bring other people, like foreign vibe into the marriage or into the relationship. As I've already told you guys, every time when Venus touches Rahu, there is going to be cheating. 100%. It's 100%. It's a given. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you think your chart is innocent, but anytime when Venus gets conjunct with Rahu, I'm sorry, the science is gonna science. So now let's go back now to see the whole situation about the divorce. What was happening in the planetary alignments at this time? Why now? Because we do know that Kevin had been seeing, that woman for a very long time, right? So why then in 2019, why finally did Wendy choose, okay, enough is enough? Of course, we do know there was a baby coming from the gestation, but what was happening with the planets? That's what we want to see. Now, let's get into the details. So in 2019, right, Wendy Williams was around 54, 55 years old, right? And at this time, Kevin was about 46 years old to 47 years old, right? So what was happening now is that at this age, at this time, Venus, the progressing Venus of Wendy Williams, was going over Ketu. I keep showing you guys. I showed you with the Cardi B prediction, and I'm showing you again that every time when progressing Venus is going over natal Ketu, there will be a divorce, there will be a split, there will be a breakup. It is a science, it is what it is. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. And at this time, for sure, at 54 years old, her Venus was going over Ketu at this time. And we also see that at the very same time, her own Venus, the progressing one, was opposite Kevin's natal Venus. See, guys? The progressing Venus of Wendy Williams at this time, it's going over her Ketu. Ketu is about separation. Ketu is about cutting the relationship. Ketu is about distancing people from each other. And at the same time, it's going opposite his Venus. Love going against love. Union going against union, and also supported by what? Ketu, the breaker, right? So this is what happened. This is why Wendy said, okay, enough is enough. It's because her Ketu was allowing her to let go. It was saying, okay, it's time to go now. It's time to break this, right? And there's a lot of stuff going on, because in her own chart again, her own progressing Ketu now, the progressing Ketu now was going against his Chiron. Chiron is about wounding, but at the same time healing something. So it will wound first and then it will heal. So now her progressing Ketu, distancer, breaker, is going against the wounding, against his wounding, against his, feeling a bit of ouch, all right? But at the same time, listen to now, it gets very... At the same time, it was also going, like her progressing Ketu is going over her fortune, wheels of fortune, her fortune, literally like her worth, her net worth. And at the same time, remember, it's like it's going against his Chiron, meaning that for him it was shocking. He was not expecting it. He was not expecting this breakup, caused by her progressing Ketu as well as her progressing Venus. And at the same time, it affected what? The fortune, her net worth. And at the same time, he gets wounded because his Chiron is opposite her net worth, her fortune, her values. I mean, not values, but her net wealth, basically. Right? So it really, really gets interesting when you see that not only the love was broken, but that the financial part, the wealth part got so involved and cut down by the Ketu. And we do know, from her documentary that, she had to pay Kevin some money, right, after the divorce, because it's against what? Chiron. You wound first and then you heal. And the healing came through fortune, the money, because that's what he wanted, right? So yeah, guys, there's a lot of stuff we could talk about when we look at a synastry and when we analyze. And what I give here is just small parts. But as I said, with the people who are subscribed on the website, I'm going to release bit by bit, but to only them, how, I read stuff and how, we read, we predict, all of that. But I'm going to release it in bits by bits, of course. And so thanks for the subscriptions on the website. We do have a class, as I said, it's like a private class. It's like a private class, and so I did put another video up today, a podcast of an introduction and all of that of what we're going to do. And to check your own chart, press the link below. And for now, I must say ciao, and I'll chat to you soon. A bientôt.